Stay, yeah. Currently sitting at 73. Welcome everybody. Absolutely fantastic to see so many people take the time out on a Monday night. And Gareth and myself have got a really interesting, hopefully fun and engaging little workshop that we're going to do tonight. It's all about engaging every player in mixed ability groups. And if you want to just keep going there, Gareth, with the presentation, it would be great. I've already said thank you. I'll go to the end when we're recording this, and we'll share the recording and the transcribe. If not tonight, we'll share it with everybody tomorrow. The middle one, which is collaborate, something that we are really, really, really passionate about, other than the fact that we love doing these webinars. We want people to come off mute when possible, so we can collaborate and share. We don't want it to be just Gareth and myself that are talking throughout the night. So please, as best you can, I'm quite happy to call people off mute, but we would love you to say we're happy to share, because it's all about, we want to hear and hear what you actually do in your environment, and we'll maybe add a little bit of spice on top of that as well, if you don't mind. Yeah, Gareth?
Yeah, I think this workshop, good evening everyone, thanks for joining us, is more about sharing ideas than anything. Like this is such an interesting topic. Bit of a disclaimer, we don't have the perfect answer, so it's about sharing ideas and finding out what works for your players. I see a couple messages about your name not matching your email. Don't worry about that. There'll be a QR code at the end. We'll take your details through that and make sure you get your hour as well. So make sure you stick around. Other than that, let's do it.
Just as you're going on to the next slide, if you want to drop any questions into the little chat on the bottom, please feel free to do that at any time throughout the night. But it would be great if you came off mute, as we already mentioned. So some learning outcomes for tonight is all about understanding how to support mixed ability groups in your own training environment. And I said it's something that we're really passionate about, and really, really keen to hear what you currently do in your own environment. So maybe if we could get a couple of people maybe to jump off mute, introduce yourself, your club, and the age group that you currently work with, just 2 or 3, just to set the scene and get going a little bit. So fire away.
I'll rip in first then. Like I'm one of the ones that sent the message. Darren, I'm at Lions with the FQA 3 under 15 boys.
Brilliant. Darren, you're currently doing your C diploma with us.
Correct.
There you go.
I'm surprised he's not sick of us. Or he is.
Still sore though.
Nice.
Yeah, you're still sore. Somebody else want to come off and share with us, please?
Yeah, Marty, Jake from Logan Lightning. I'm actually this year looking after all the goalkeepers across the academy program, both female and boys. So this is a really good one for me, because there's mixed abilities, obviously, depending on age and experience.
Jake, that's brilliant again, because I wouldn't say it's something that Gareth and I haven't really discussed, but would love you to share sometime through the presentation on what you currently do. Okay, that would be brilliant. And obviously you've gone down the coach education pathway yourself, and I think you've just done your B diploma, if I remember rightly. Is that right?
B diploma and B diploma goalkeeping last year.
Mate, please share with us as we go through the presentation. It'd be wonderful. A couple others want to share with us. We've got Jonathan, we've got Tiago from Ormo there. We've got Jonathan from Northside Christian Football Club. Welcome, both of you. Obviously, Darren, I've just seen your name there as well. Meher, if you want to jump off mute, that would be brilliant.
I think I'm already on mute. Can you guys hear me?
Sorry, what was that?
Yeah, my name is Mayar. I'm just doing under 10 FQA 3 for Spillingfield United, and I'm doing the course with you as well. So
You're the gentleman from Iran. I showed you the Christy Berg video the other day.
Correct. You've got a good memory, man.
Thank you, mate. It was only 3 days ago, mate. So
I know.
Tell you what, we really upsold on that course, didn't we? We hooked them all in. We're good at this, I think.
Exactly. But look, again, welcome everybody. Let's have a little bit of fun. Let's engage. Let's interact, and let's get moving. Gareth, if you don't mind.
Yeah. So
on you go.
On I go. Okay. So hopefully, or somebody just took control of the presentation, if you can avoid that. Got it again. So let's paint the picture a little bit here. Have a little think about your group just now. If you work in grassroots, sometimes you just end up with the players that are available. Do you have players that are really struggling, who've maybe not played the game before? Have you got players that are coping, who are kind of sitting on that nice smooth area and they're finding it quite competitive? And this workshop isn't just about players that are maybe struggling, but it's also about players that are thriving. So how do you keep challenging those players who love the game, eat it for breakfast, they want to play all day long, and they really need that next challenge? So we're going to talk about those 3 categories today, maybe struggling, coping, and thriving. I'd love to hear from a couple of people, and Martin, if you could manage it, what differences do you currently see in your group? If anyone minds sharing.
Steve McAteer here, Martin and Gareth. Good
I
to
can
see
go.
Hey, Stevie.
you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we
Yep,
can hear you,
go for
Steve. Yeah.
I think so. I've got quite a differing sort of group of ladies down at New Farm, and what I do find sometimes if we're doing like passing drills or if we're moving, like receiving the ball, and some of them don't have the technical skills, it sort of the whole lot comes down like a deck of cards, like a house of cards. So I try to mix them through, but then it breaks it for the ones who are doing it. So the reason I came to this is to try and get a bit of insight. Currently, what I do is I put the 2 groups sort of separately so it doesn't break it, and then go and coach, jump in both groups, but I don't know if that's right or not. Yeah.
It was definitely an idea, and that's one of the proposals we'll give you tonight is maybe separating them to make sure everyone has the right challenge level. So really good, Steve, and it's good to see you again.
Yeah, good to see you.
Good to see you again.
I think we've got TD there that's got his hand up. If you could put your camera on mute, that will be wonderful. Save the background noise there. We've got TD got his hand up there.
No, sorry, it was my mistake here. Sorry.
That's okay. That's good. Somebody else want to jump off and share with us what differences in ability level that you see within your current group? Maybe a little bit different to what Steve's currently.
I'll give you something. Stuart Popperwell here. Although I'm doing some stuff with the FQPL1 first team, I also do a bit of girls' school soccer as well. And in that area, huge differences. Some that are playing club, some that are not playing club. So I focus heavily on the strugglers, on giving them focus around technical stuff like locking their ankle, on passing, their body shape for their first touch and passing, while the ones that are thriving or better, I might give them other instructions like work on their awareness, bring them down to 1 or 2 touch, and yeah, just different focus points on their training and playing.
Love it, Stuart. So you said you worked in the FQPL3 and then the school environment. What's the major difference from
FQPL1? Sorry,
FQPL1.
and that's senior men's.
All right.
So yeah, semi-professional, very different. But then I think the greater differences that I see where it really is challenging is in the girls team that I take at school level, where there is huge differences in ability. Yeah, so I was just sharing how I go about doing that.
No,
half the group all focused on technical, and maybe another half of the group, which is giving them bigger challenges.
Yeah, love it. It's something
it can be social and mental as well, not just the technical side of the game, which is one of the challenges we face as coaches. So how do you engage 100%. Them all and keep them on the hook? It's tough.
I think we've got John Marudis there. Happy to come off mute. John?
Hello. I think we met last year, Martin, at Westside Groverley.
Yes.
You gave me really good advice back then. And last year I was assistant coaching under sixes, and this year I'm stepping up for under sevens. The one thing that I had a challenge with was kids with the ADHD or generally ADHD, ASD. We had a couple of them, and one day they will come super focused, and the other day will come not even wanting to leave their parents' feet. So after having a session with you, I found out the only way to engage them is to make them the start of the day. Like if we're going to do drills or any activities, I will ask their preference, and then everybody else will follow. It was like, and that gave them a bit more enthusiasm to work, to be in the team, even though they didn't feel like it.
Oh,
Love it.
brilliant. Thanks for that, John. You weren't the John that your shoe blew it at the foot the mini roos, was it?
Yes.
See,
Yes.
That's how good my memory is. That's
I think we'll take one more from Ralph, who's been very
Yeah.
patient. Ralph, if you don't mind sharing with us.
Hey guys, how are you? I have two teams. I have an 11-12s Minaroo team and a juniors team, and I have a 16, 17, 18-year-old FQPL in regional Queensland team. One of my biggest issues is more with the FQPL team. I notice I have a very young team, and it's more so their mental state. I feel that they feel a little bit intimidated that they might be playing against kids that are a lot bigger than them, like 2 to 3 years older. So that's one of the main things that I've been working with, trying to both tactically but also mentally trying to push them into saying, hey, you are just as competitive as they are. But I do find that that's a big obstacle, given that it's the first time that Football Queensland have introduced that age group that's so big in that bio band. Like you've got kids that are just coming out of puberty, and then kids that are just almost men. So I just thought this might be a good seminar to address some of this, maybe.
You want to take up on that, Gareth?
Yeah, listen. How many age bands did you say there? It was
16 to 18s.
16 to 18. So listen, really, really tough one. I think that's why the focus on the individual players and their own journey is paramount. As soon as you start looking out the window too much and looking at the outcomes, it can be a real struggle. So it's keeping them motivated, which we'll touch on, and just making sure that they're on their journey rather than worrying about the outside noise. But tell that to a 16, 17-year-old boy.
Totally agree.
Good luck with that.
It's been my struggle for the last pre-season. It's like, oh, we're going to get smashed. We're like, no, you're not going to get smashed. We're going to play tactically. We're going to play to our age group and our compatibility, but we're going to be okay.
Yeah, love it. You want to pick up on this one, Martin?
Yeah, it's been mentioned by everybody. I suppose the reality is that one size obviously doesn't fit all, and I think it's been observant, creative, and having a little bit of football knowledge at the same time. But more importantly, something we discuss all the time internally is not doing things on your own. Try and find an assistant or a second assistant that might be able to support you through your journey as well, because as we say, the reality is that one size doesn't fit all, when it's how creative we are through good observation in making sure that we actually engage every child and make sure we stretch and challenge every child mentally, physically, tactically, okay, and psychosocially at the same time. So we just got to be consciously aware of that all the time, and that's through good observation. Jump over, Gareth. We've sort of had a few people already share with what they currently do to support mixed abilities at training. I suppose maybe just get one or two others. Maybe from afar. I've noticed that Martin Tran is calling in from Melbourne. currently coaching at a club at Footscray. I don't like the name Rangers, but anyway, at Footscray. Martin, would you want to jump off if you don't mind and share with us what you currently do, knowing that one size doesn't fit all, if possible, please?
Yeah, of course. So I help out with all of the senior men's teams, so including the Metros and our State League program, as well as our State League and Metro women's program, which has been launched this year. So it's, again, I've worked with goalkeepers who have played NPL, and I'm working with goalkeepers who don't know how to dive, and everyone in between.
Wow. What do you do? What are some of your strategies to engage them, or what are some of your strategies to make sure that they walk away with something during the session, at the end of a session?
So I don't combine all of the goalkeepers at once. I train them on separate nights. So I would do the State League men's and some of the Metro men's on one night, and some of the Metro men and the Metro women and State League women on another night, just so I can differentiate between that. I'm really just drawing a lot of background knowledge because I'm also a PE teacher, because I'm a sicko. I love doing this sort of stuff. Yeah, honestly, just differentiating and just meeting them at their level, and just not even worry about the performance, but more about the process.
Yeah, love that. Love it. Absolutely love it. And I'd say that of course, the critical thing is, and I think we're going to touch on So Change It in a couple of slides time. Is that right, Gareth? We're going to talk about that, and that's how we differentiate using the acronym So Change It. Hopefully most of us are familiar with it. We've got another little acronym that we might hit you with before then, but really important that So Change It's the back of mind for everybody, and that allows us to engage others and make sure, again, we stretch the better ones and maybe support the ones that need a little bit more support using So Change It. One more sharer of knowing that one size doesn't fit all. And maybe somebody working in under 9s, under 10s, if you don't mind. That would be great if we could get that. Maybe Toby, if you jump off mute, that would be great.
Yeah, I have a goalkeeper actually who also has that ADHD problem. We've asked everyone to commit to 2 nights of training every single week. This is under 12 development at Jim Boom Bay United FC. His problem is committing to 2 nights a week of training. So I have trying to accommodate him. He's a very, very good goalkeeper, very talented young man. And my concern is that he will lose interest in the game and move on or do something else. So I kind of want to try to engage him in a way that's not too much for him mentally, that'll make it fun to come to training and be challenged. And goalkeeper training is probably not my strength. Yeah, and just trying to be supportive while challenging at the same time is the issue there.
That's good. Well, hopefully as we travel through this little presentation, you pick up some ideas, if not from myself and Gareth, you might get it from somebody else in the audience at the same time. I think with regards to that 2-night and even 3-night a week training, we sometimes have to remind ourselves that some players, some children just want to play socially, even though they're in this academy environment, and that's something we have to be very conscious of all the time. And it's the expectations. I realize it comes at a cost at the same time, but we have to be mindful of some of these children just want to, I suppose, have that little bit of release during the week, and it might just be for that 1 night a week. That's enough for them. And I said maybe give them some homework, might be something we maybe think about. That's not.
Yeah.
Doesn't
I
seem
did.
like
I did mention to his parents that look, giving 100% can be different to all kinds of people, kids. That 100% to someone is not 100% to another kid because they deal with their own issues. But yeah, it's just that I feel like we could possibly get him back into 2 nights a week training, but I'm just not sure like how to approach that, or if there is a way, or whether it's just leave it at 1. I'm not sure.
It's so good that you say. I listened into Chris Fagan last year, obviously the Brisbane Lions coach, and he talked exactly about the 100%. And these are full-time professionals, and all he asked of his players is, you just give me 100%, whatever that looks like, as long as it's your best effort. That's basically it. So, and it will look different to everybody. That was something obviously at the very top level, and it was just something that resonated with me, and I said, wow, because that looks like 100% to me. it might not look like that to somebody else. So we just have to be mindful of that at the same time. But brilliant. Gareth, we want to move forward.
Yeah, I just want to touch on this slide again, if you can see it, the three images. Can you see it, Martin?
Yes, can see it clear.
I think a really good starting point is, after you get off this call, have a little internal audit of your group. Where do they fit into these categories, and what do they actually need from you? I think that's the best starting point for this conversation when you come off and you go back into your own environments. Because ultimately, you've got to meet all their needs, whether they're struggling or thriving. It's really, really important. You want to do this one, Martin?
Yeah, I think most people that have been on a mini roos or a foundation of football course with me, I'm not going to say that this is actually my mate. I haven't made this up myself. I actually did it with the help of Kerry Hammersley a number of years ago, and it's something that it's almost a checklist. And yes, we've talked about So Change It just briefly before, but this acronym is something that if you write down, if you get a little palm card and you make sure it's there and you're watching your session, you're making sure that there is maximum touches on the ball. What it looks like to the children is not necessarily relevant based on their abilities and how you stretch them, but being organized. I always talk about enjoyment more so as coaches as opposed to the player. I think if they see you're enjoying yourself, then hopefully they're going to enjoy it just as much. And yes, safety is the number one. I was going to call it STOW, but I think TOES sounds better than STOW. Would you reckon? So safety is obviously paramount, and make sure it's that safe environment all the time, and having that again is top of mind awareness that children being in a safe environment, knowing that I'm going to work with mixed abilities, but making sure that your touches of the ball are there, but it's safe and how that actually comes to life. So when we train, it's TOES, touches on the ball, organisation, enjoyment, and safety.
I think this is something that's on the we use on the mini roo certificate, but it actually applies to everything. Like every single environment, from a youth to a senior, should probably include these elements as well. So I think the reason why we're including this is when you're delivering these sessions, no matter what level you're at, as this is a fundamental area for every single player. So rather than looking at it from a team, every single player has to tick off these four things. And then we're on to the classic So Change It. I'm sure most of you have seen this if you've been on a coach education course in the last, how many years, Martin? Probably 10 years. It was Change It before, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was Change It. Then obviously they put in safety and observation. So yeah, it's been there for 10 plus years.
Yeah. So listen, this is our answer to the question, how do you engage mixed abilities? We think in this framework, everything you need is there basically. Your job as a coach is to, number one, make sure it's safe, but then observe. And then using the rest of them, how can you manipulate it to make sure all your players are having fun and are engaged and are getting learning outcomes? Yeah, not necessarily going to walk through each one, but again, this is our answer to the question. Anything you want to add to that one, Martin?
No, I think hopefully we're going to highlight the observation phase. And I know that we will. Being observant, not being physically in the session. It looks like we're up to over 80 people, and please don't think we're preaching to you, and we're not here to change your mind in any way, shape, or form. But critical that if we're there to support the child or the children in training, we're there to actually teach them, coach them. We can only do that through observing. We can't do that through participation. So, and I know it's fun when we are sometimes actively involved in the training sessions, but in order to make sure we're maximizing the mixed abilities or the all abilities, we've got to make sure we're observing all the time. Okay, so we can push on from there, Gareth.
Yep. Just thinking about it. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to look at some scenarios, pose some scenarios to you, hopefully get some suggestions. There's no wrong answers, and then we'll provide a potential solution. We'll start with one of yours, Martin.
Mm-hmm.
On you go.
Love it. Yeah, so again, you're noticing the bottom left-hand corner there. I've got my little toes there. It's my little checklist. I'm making sure that it's all happening. That's me, the coach, with my little white cap there on the side, and I've got my so change it. Obviously on the right-hand side there as well. I've started my session with a 5v5 game, and I've got it in my mind. And again, I'd love it if somebody in the under 8s or under 9s would jump off mute and share with me. I've observed that we're not really getting enough touches on the ball. There's one ball in the game. Somebody that's working with under 8s, under 9s, or under 10s, if somebody wanted to share with me, it's a 5v5, it's a play. There's nothing to it. Anyone who want to share with us, come off mute if you don't mind and go, right, this is what I would like to do. Make sure that Toes is there. And yeah, Fiona, you can jump off mute. If you don't mind as you're driving down to the coast, be careful.
Yep, will do. So maybe we could just change it and make it, instead of a 5v5, make it a 3v2. Perhaps that might help. So there's more touches on the ball.
How might we do that, making it a 3v2? What do we do with the other 5?
So we might make 2 game areas of 3v2. So there's goals, there's lots of more space, there's more opportunities for touches on the ball for all the players involved.
Yeah. How easy?
You could even make it a 3v3 if you want a more challenge point for some of the players, or maybe a challenge point. But your 4 top players are 2v2, and maybe just change some of the rules of how to score for those boys or girls.
What might be some of the incentives for the better players, if we want to call it that, or the more technical players? What might be some of the challenges or the rewards?
Yep. Depends what your focus is too. Like, for instance, maybe we're working on running with the ball. Maybe their challenge is if we can drive into a little end zone and try and be in the end zone before we score. Perhaps a number of passes we've got to make, or setting someone else to run into that end zone. If they can make that pass, the player runs in, there's an extra 2 points for a goal, or 2 points.
Love it. I love it. So if that was for the better players, I'll get to you in a second, Natalia. What might be the stretch or the challenge for the not so better, but the players that are in that? What was that middle one again, Gareth, of the picture? What was the middle one?
Coping.
The ones that are coping. What might be the challenge for them, and the ones on the other edge as well? What might be a little challenge for them using So Change It again?
So we might even have to break it down that in that space, each player's got a ball. We might put a little bit of pressure on with a person that's doing tagging games. So we're just trying to have a little activation of pressure and fun.
Love it. Excellent. Natalia? Thanks, Fiona.
Thanks, Fiona.
Hi. Yeah, well, I was thinking it's very similar to what Fiona was saying, but I was in that case, it can be putting 2 cones, as in 2 gates on different sides, so they can actually change direction as well, and just making it a 3v3. We're talking about 2 5v5, then just divide it into in 3v3s, and then put gates, and make, as in, what do you want the shape to be? Is if it's 1 at the back, 2 at the front, and like what you want to achieve with that. I don't know, that in that case, if there are some kids that are not achieving it because of what was the word, sorry, that you used, Gareth?
We had struggling, coping, and thriving.
The coping on the struggling, then you just switch the players, dividing them, like you put like 2 similar levels of the 3v3s or the 2v2s, whatever you're doing, you just match them there to be able to achieve what you want to in that session.
As a coach, I love it, Natalia, thanks for that. As a coach, and we coming back to observation, where might I allocate myself if I start splitting the field up into 2s or into 3s? Where might I have to place myself? Maybe, was it Benjamin? I think you put your hand up there. You want to share with us maybe what you're thinking and And from a coach observation point, where might I place myself?
So if you split the fields, obviously putting yourself between both fields or at one end where you can sort of have an open view of both games at once. But what I was thinking about in this situation is you could potentially create some more space, but still involve everyone. You could take sort of 2 players out from each team and have them on the edges of the pitch where they just roam the sideline, where they're still involved to be that pass point, but they can't actually get into the field and take the ball away. And because what I find is I got a couple of kids that are really good on the ball. They'll grab the ball and they'll want to go and do their thing. But by placing them sort of outside the sideline and saying you can run up and down the sideline, but you can't come in and get it.
Yep.
They're still involved in the play, and you can sort of temper, maybe rotate the kids through so that there's an opportunity for the kids who might not just be as confident or have it's good technically on the ball, can jump in and have a bit more space to actually operate in that field of play. And the other thing I like to do with my kids is that the goal of the game might be that the first team to have everyone score is the one that wins, not first to 5 goals. It has to be, okay, well, player 1 has already scored. He can't score again until everyone else has scored.
Yeah, love it. It's a good fit. What age do you coach?
Under 12s this year.
All right, brilliant. I like that. I like the idea of everybody's got to score before we go back round again. Love it. Thanks for that. There was somebody else who put the hand up there. Can just jump off mute. I've got the recordings. So there's 2 there to jump in, just one at a time. And then we'll jump on to the next one with a possible solution, Gareth.
Hi, Martin.
Hello.
It's Louis here.
Hello, Louis.
I'm from Victoria.
Oh, this is brilliant. Thank you, Louis.
No worries, all good. I don't really do the special ability children. I've seen people do it, so there's a couple of things I wouldn't mind sharing with you guys.
Yes.
With the young groups, so when you talk about the 5v5s, similar to what Benjamin was saying, what they'll do, and they use them as bouncers. So you might have 6 players that are pretty good, and you might have 4 that are a little bit less. So you might say, all right, let's get the 3v3 in the middle that are a little bit better, get the other guys as bouncers on the outside, and you give them instructions, like you say to them, okay, you guys have got 3 or 4 touches before you can knock the ball back in again and move on, go to the next position. And then you might find that you bring those guys in and you tell the guys with better skills that they can do 1 touch, for example, or 2 touch, or whatever their ability is at. And then in a game situation where you have, let's say, goals on each side, the better players have to reset. So if they win the ball, they have to start again to go forward. Not that you win the ball in front of the goals, you can just score. So it gives everyone an opportunity to touch the ball, and it gives the guys with more ability to start thinking a bit more of what they're doing rather than just going ahead and just scoring all the time.
Love it. I love it. I'll summarize something. I've got a little thing I like to make mention of, but I like what you've mentioned there. I'll just go straight to Stefan, then we'll jump on to the next one if that's okay. You're on mute.
Yeah, that's fine. Thank you.
You're on mute, Stefan. Yeah.
And the mic's not working.
See, he's on mute.
No, we can't hear you, sorry.
Mic not working. No worries. That's all good, mate. Gareth, we want to jump on. Anything you want to add on?
Yeah, I would just want to, I'm just throwing this out into the ether a little bit. When we talk about those players that are thriving, we probably don't want to stifle them either and try and put restrictions on them or take them away from the game. The challenge as coaches is we need to keep them engaged and make sure they've got their needs met and they feel like they're getting the success they want. It's really challenging, but rather than stifle, can we find a way to keep them engaged? Using So Change It. That would be my big challenge. Something to think on.
This is what Fiona brought up. Thanks for that, Fiona. So similar to what we've just said then again. So just touching on what Gareth just mentioned there with regards to your thriving players. It's really important as best we can that we don't punish them. we stretch them and we challenge them. And even though I like the idea of the bouncers on the outside, and I like the everybody's got to score before the next person scores. If we think a big picture, and I know we're at the bottom of the food chain. If we think of mini roos and we think even the academies, if we think a big picture, in Australia we're looking for creative individuals that can actually take players on and be as creative and be as brave and be as smart as we possibly can. So coming back to So Change It, we've got to be creative and smart how we use that and ensure that we stretch those players, challenge them. Okay, and I'm not saying that anybody's suggested that we punish them. I'm not saying that's what it is. I just want to highlight that it's really important that we try and stretch these players, and by splitting those into 2 groups or 3 groups, you'll notice on the right hand side, and John, I can see your hands up. I'll get you in a second, but on the right hand side, that might be the ones that are struggling a little bit, maybe even coping. We've created that little bit more space for them, so they're not under as much pressure. Whereas on the other side, even though it's a 2v2, that could be a 3v2, or if it could be a 2v2 plus 1, could be wherever. I've just done it as this basic format at the moment. And again, you'll see my coaching position there, which somebody already mentioned there. We've made 2 areas. We've got a little channel in the middle that we can walk up and down, and with minimal equipment. I know we've got 4 goals there, but they could be gates like Natalia mentioned there before. They don't have to be goals. There's a big area for the ones that are struggling or even coping for that matter. And then on the left-hand side, we've got the ones that we want to stretch them and challenge them a little bit. It's important that it's always in the back of our mind, coming back to that touches on the ball, organisation, enjoyment and safety. If I think of enjoyment for a child that's restricted to touches, that's restricted to areas, that's restricted to actions, I always think of, well, how are they going to enjoy it when we want them to come back the following day buzzing? So just by being creative with the area, and I realise we're not all blessed with lots of green space, but we can use that 30 by 40 or 30 by 20 area by splitting into 2, splitting into 3, whatever, by being observant and using equipment to our advantage.
We may have to keep pushing on there, Martin.
Yeah,
just conscious of time.
Sorry.
Yeah. Sorry, John. We might catch you on the next one if that's okay.
Yeah.
So there we've had a play.
good.
We've observed. Thanks, John. We've played. We've observed. We've made a change. Hopefully, all players are engaged. And then we get into practice here, and it's quite a common one. So it might be
us isolating what you do technically, and then your consistency of what you do.
So yeah, we're in a practice, and it's quite a common one. Maybe you call it King of the Ring, whatever it is. But the kids are playing a game, and then if they kick your ball, you're basically out, and you're waiting for the round to finish. I'd love for someone to come off mute. What tends to happen in these scenarios when we play games like this?
The kids that are already proficient stay in the longest, and the kids that need the most help are the ones sitting on the sideline.
Yeah, totally agree, Adam. Yeah. So the ones who need to be in there the most are the ones that are immediately put out. So thinking about So Change It, how can we tweak our games where maybe there is some sort of out, but we can keep an incentive to keep them back in? Is there any ideas out there? How could we use So Change It? Yeah, Jake?
So what you could do is if a player's out, they need to freeze, put their hands on their head, but they can get back in by someone dribbling the ball through their legs or something like that. So they reactivate.
Potentially, yep. 100%, yep. Any other ideas? Natalia?
It can be that the ones that they get the ball out, now they can go and steal a ball from someone else, and then they just start again with that ball.
Brilliant. Love it.
You can have the out players, they have a ball amongst themselves and they're just passing to each other until everyone's knocked out.
Could do, potentially. Yeah, Brett?
Could just do an easy one, which is buyback in. So if the kids, if it's working on dribbling, protecting the ball, when they're out, they could have a buyback in, like 10 toe taps, 10 in steps, and they're back in the game. Something even as simple as that can keep them involved.
Awesome. Love it. Love it. And it keeps the reps up as well. Really good idea. Great idea. Wasn't my idea. It was a good one though. Probably better than my idea, to be honest. Let me push through. So my big one is obviously so rather than the kids are out, it's a role change. So maybe they become a defender, and maybe you play till there's one defender left, or maybe there's something you can do with the rules like we've spoke about. But my number one message is we need to keep kids in the area playing as much as possible, and in some way, shape, or form. We need to keep their reps up. We need to keep them running around, and as those of us that work with junior players, we need to keep them standing still for as little time as possible. That's the number one goal. So consider that if you're using games which have outs, which I've done, by the way, for 1,000 years. There's probably better ways we can engage our players, and I've learned that as well, that let's be more inclusive. Let's keep them on the field for as long as possible, all the players. I think that's a really key thing when we talk about practice, Martin.
Yeah, 100%. And of course, practice is all about getting lots of touches on the ball. So could you split that King of the Ring into two areas quite comfortably?
100%.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So again, maximize touches. By doing that, you could have different defenders, different rules. I like that little reward there about the toe taps and things like that. That's such a great thing because kids are touching the ball there. Dropping into the final play, you'll notice there that we've placed lots of balls around the field. Coaches sometimes walk around with a ball under their arm. So starts and restarts don't necessarily have to be generic from the goalkeeper or from one end or from the other. It's a really, really, really good way to continue with this touches on the ball and making sure that the starts and restarts could be as the ball goes out, the coach can nominate where the start of the restart is. Of course, it can get a little bit chaotic there if the kids are going all over the place, but with regards to restarts. But as we know, the game is chaotic at the same time anyways. It's not the worst thing. Somebody there is putting kids on the sidelines become bouncers. I don't mind bouncers at all. I'll always be very mindful of the age that we introduce that, because we just got to, again, make sure that there's maximum engagement and maximum touches on the ball. Anybody want to jump off line there and maybe jump off mute, my apologies, and maybe share with us, maybe in a final play, how might I incentivize a better play, as in a thriving player, and make sure that I don't forget the struggling or the coping players? What might be some challenges I might be able to set there in my final play? Natalia, you love talking, eh? My days. Unbelievable. We're going to have to mute you.
I'm participating, see?
We love it. We love it.
We can put some rules for that. The players are striving to use the weaker foot, or they can shoot only with a weaker foot, or they can score once they've done a 1-2. I don't know, some stuff that they can work with others before, I don't know, that final shot, or so he can include also the other players. I don't know, something like that.
No, I like that. Sophia?
Something just as simple as popping some bibs like in the corners of goals to increase like target practice as well, especially if you're using a bigger goal. And also that's really good for goalkeepers to incorporate their channels in as well, where their expected saving range is versus what maybe is like outside of their realm of expectation for the age group.
That's a great one. What age do you currently coach? So I don't know if it's Sophie or Sophia. My apologies. Your name's just dropped off there.
It's all good. No, that's okay.
What age do you coach?
I'm out at Lowood, so we're coaching grade 7 through to grade 12 with school boys and girls, Bretto and I.
I've just realised that you've done your C diploma with us as well. I just realised now I can see it now. I don't have my glasses on. That being the case, say hi to everybody from Lowood for us, please, Sophie. That being the case, how would you communicate incentives to a coping player, a thriving player, or a struggling player? Open environment or one-on-one?
I would go in one-on-one personally and just give them each their own challenge dependent on their level. So I did something similar the other day with some of our kids, and we went in and I went to the keepers. Your goal is to stay in this area. This kid, your goal is to hit the top two. We were using big goals, so the top two corners, there were bibs up there, different colours for different groups as well, and just going individually to those players and going, hey, I want you to hit this, I want you to hit that. It just keeps that flow of the game going, and it doesn't take those time off those touches as well.
Love it. So again, knowing that the role of the coach in the final play is to observe player behaviour, as in, have you influenced that player behaviour? Is that a challenge to set individual challenges to everybody? How might you manage that as a coach, not just you, Sophie, maybe somebody else? How might you manage that? Have you given 3 or 4 different challenges out to 3 or 4 different sets of players? How might you manage that? Can't be that difficult a question. That's the quietest you've been all night, Natalia. Barry, share with me. Final one. How might you manage it? I've got 3 levels of players, and then I've incentivized them. How might I manage that?
Can you hear me?
Yep, can hear you loud and clear.
Yep. It's difficult sometimes, mate. But if you look at, so for me, if I'm probably deviating from your question to a certain extent. So, for instance, in this exercise here, where you've got 5v5, I would sort of play a bouncer on the outside. So you've got 3v3 in the middle, and a blue and a yellow on one side, and a blue and a yellow on the outside. And to score a goal, the blue plays the ball from the outside, plays it to an outside boy, and they swap over, and that's a goal. So you've always got 3v3, but the boys on the outside are constantly changing. And I think that way, every single kid in that 10 kids get lots and lots and lots of touches of the ball.
Yeah,
like
love it.
literally in a 5-minute game, and they score a goal by playing it to the outside to a blue if you're a blue, and the blue on the outside, good first touch, comes in and he scores a goal. So, and it's continual. The game, it doesn't stop.
Yeah, I love it, and thanks for that again. I know we've come back to the bouncers, which is fine. Again, no problem with that whatsoever. A thing I usually do is I'll set the child, you're in control of your own score. I want you to tell me at the end how many goals you've got, how many touches you've got, and that little one that you just mentioned there, Natalia, about maybe dribbling into an area. So you're in control of that, and at the end, I usually have a little whiteboard, and I write the names, and I say them, just write down how many. And the ones that are struggling a little bit, I might make it so easy for them that they get lots of opportunities to get that success. And it could be touching the ball and maybe taking 2 steps with the ball even before you lose it. Just something like that, something as basic as that, and you get a point for that. So it puts it in the back of their mind that they're getting some form of success even in the final play. So, because of course the final play is usually where we all want to play that final game, but you can intrinsically motivate and incentivize children by being a little bit creative using that. Jonathan?
You're on mute, Jonathan, if you're talking.
Thanks for that, Barry.
All right. Sorry, boys, can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you now.
Yeah. No, so I agree with everything you guys are saying and all the examples, and Natalia has some good examples too. Just with the thriving example, we used back in the day in Sydney when I was young, it was forming, storming, and norming, and the norming was, now we have a standard. Doesn't matter what age you were, you had a standard. And one of the examples that I, just again piggybacking from everything, all the examples you guys used. What I would like to do, there's still a coaching degree, Now we know even if our players are struggling compared to others, they may have a really good strong foot, they have a really good boot, they might be really fast, they be good at cutting it back and doing the cutbacks and things like that. So if I can put an exercise where, for example, I want the ball played long, then I'll make an emphasis on that and bring that player to back or on the right, and I'm a bit underrated here, but enough to say, okay, now you're going to play long. When they see that this kid can really boot the ball up the pitch and have maybe great at dribbling, but not necessarily good at doing a good hard defending fit, they really pick up on that, you know, and that kind of gives them a similar that they can see if they can do something different. That obviously takes also the coaching on.
I caught about 4% of that, Martin. What about you?
It was bouncing all over the place. What I was going to ask you there, Jonathan, based on what you mentioned, I said it just kept bouncing in and out there. If we were to say to refer to so change it there, what might be the key letter there on summarising what you just mentioned there?
I'd say organisation or just the O from the first two letters actually. Apologies, I've got these Bluetooth headphones and they're simply not working well.
You're all good.
But
you're all good.
you know, I just believe the organisational aspect. You know, the fact that you can, it takes, you know, everyone's so good in the team. But when we're playing as a team, yeah, we have a goal scorer, we have a great goalkeeper, we've got a good winger, we've got a good defender, and we've got, you know, good people that make the body work and function. And if the coach at this age emphasises that, you know, it took a team effort and it took also different abilities, as raw as they may be, and then one might be rougher than the other, might be finesse, but I can emphasise that publicly. I think kids enjoy, get praise, and at the same time enjoy peer praise. Like if the coach as an adult.
Sorry, Jonathan. I think the signal's too poor that we're probably losing some people.
Dropping it, keep dropping it.
We may have to keep pushing on there, Martin. If that's okay.
Yeah. Sorry, Toby. Yeah.
Sorry, Jonathan. I hate to cut you off, but there was just we weren't catching enough there.
Go on, Gareth.
So on to the final, and the secret weapon is one of the most important things we can do as coaches. Is just focus on effort and praise effort. Ultimately, you're there for every single player, and the final message is make them feel special. By being more individualistic with your feedback, you can unlock a lot of potential in players, and those players that are struggling. Maybe you can find that little bit of, whether it's enthusiasm they need or just a little bit of support. That could be the little thing that unlocks them. So make them feel special. One of the most important things. So maybe just heading into the last couple of minutes, I'd love if you could just type in the chat, maybe a key takeaway from the workshop today. It'd be really appreciated. Something that's maybe been a light bulb moment for you. You want to just type it in the chat? That'd be fantastic, and then we can see each other's.
That's beyond my IT capabilities, Martin.
That's all good, mate. Well, share with us off mute. Tell us what your key takeaway.
Yeah.
Oh, no, look, I don't know if I mentioned to you, sort of, I've really enjoyed it simply because I coach at sort of Sydney City East Harcourt. So I coach with the JDL program and the Premier Youth League boys, which is, you know, they play against your Sydney FCs and your Western Wonders. But I'm also involved with the club side of thing, where it's the local boys that play in the local ESFA comp and girls that play in the local ESFA comp. And the difference between the two groups is chalk and cheese. So when I started coaching at the club side, I honestly found it a little bit difficult. But over a period of time, I've realised that, you know, I find the best way of getting the best out of kids is just to talk to them and praise them all the time. You know, when they do something right, what I do is try, you know, if you need to demonstrate, I get sort of the worst player to do the demonstration, so that at least he feels good about himself when he's done that. But you have to be patient, obviously, with young kids.
Love that. Brilliant.
Thanks, Barry. Really appreciate that.
Some excellent comments there, Gareth. I'm not sure if you can see them, just about understanding the different players and abilities and making sure we engage them.
Loving it.
Working with goalkeepers seem to be really popular there as well. The individual goals that we just talked about before is setting little individual challenges to players in that end game in particular.
Thanks so much for sharing, guys. Really appreciate it.
Oh, my great.
So taking us into the close, just a couple little reminders. The reality is one size doesn't fit all. Have a think about your group. Where would you place them? How can you support them? How can you make sure they feel special? Again, we're always referring to this toes, and that's for every individual player, not just as a team or a team session. And yeah, so change it is probably your best friend. That safety and that observation is really, really, really key going forward. So feel free to take a picture of this. We'll send the slides out as well, but there's access to some additional resources if you want to see them. Martin and I's email's there as well. If you've got any questions, we're happy to help you. So feel free to flick a message to us. We're here to support you, and we really love this time. A really important bit, to get your hour of CPD, you need to go through this QR code. I'm also going to put the link in the chat for you as well. So if you're maybe on your phone and you want to do it after, if you fill that out, we'll get back to you within the next couple of days and close off the CPD event. I'll give you 10 seconds to take a picture of that or scan it in if you want to. Again, the link's in the chat now as well. Have you got any closing remarks, Martin, before we finish off?
No, again, as you mentioned there before, Gareth, that there's something that we're both really passionate about, is making sure that every child is made to feel special. And we're very fortunate that we have Toes and we have So Change It there as our friends to make that happen, and ensuring it's a fun, safe and inclusive learning environment at the same time. But being observant at training, knowing the ability of your children, knowing where they're coping, knowing whether they're thriving, knowing whether they're struggling, but knowing how to stretch them and support them at the same time. If you can do that, then we get the children to come back day on day rather than week on week. We want them back the following day, and we want them building that love for the game of football. But I can't thank you enough. There's 85 people online tonight. I can't believe 85 people need an hour of CPD to listen to Gareth and I. But can't thank you enough. It's been absolutely phenomenal. It's amazing. We're so fortunate, and we really do appreciate you taking your time. Even though, in particular, those people from the southern states, it's so greatly appreciated that you've done that, because we realise it's a different time zone down there at the same time. Maybe that's why the time was different to begin with, Gareth.
Maybe. But yeah, thank you, everyone.